Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back to today's Daf Yomi, Yevamos Kuf Yud Aleph. We begin 6 lines from the top. We're actually right in the middle of a sugya. A ketana, or a cheireshes, deaf-mute girl, cannot marry min haTorah. It's only midrabanan. However, the Gemara tells us yesterday that there's a difference between one type of marriage arrangement and the other. So although they're both midrabanan, there's a disparity. When we look at one in contrast, relative to the other, a chereshes is only partially married. It's a miktsas. She's not fully mature. She doesn't have full da'as. Although we allow this marriage, but it's considered a miktsas, an incomplete type of arrangement. In contrast to the ketana, there it's different. It's either in or out. Either, we're not sure, it's a suffix. You see, you acquired her, you made a kinyan. Chachamim deem it a marriage, but you never know what's going to happen. It's up in the air. She might just walk away, might just reject you, might just do miyum. So it's suffix, 100%, suffix all or suffix nothing. It's all or nothing. Whereas by Yechireshes, it's 50%. Says the Gemara, I'll actually prove that this understanding is correct. Amar Rav Sheshes. It seems that this approach is indeed correct. Chereshes is an incomplete type of marriage, and ketana is either 100% or nothing. We're not sure. It's a suffix. The way Rav Chizda explained it according to Rav, the way we just explained. I'll prove it. The Sanya, the Mishnah says like this. Says the Brisa, Shnei achen esurin shtei achoyis. Reuven and Shimon, 2 brothers, married 2 sisters. Let's call them Rachel and Leah. Ketanos, their orphans, Yesoimos, their orphans. Ketana v'chereshes. You have Reuven married to a ketana. His marriage is either 100% or nothing, right? A suffix. V'chereshes, and Shimon is married to a chereshes, whose marriage is considered miktsas, incomplete, a partial type of kinyan. So what happened? Meis bala shel ketana. The husband of the ketana passes away. Shimon is in trouble, because maybe that ketana was fully married. Her kinyan is considered a proper kinyan to his brother Reuven. Now she's a Yevamos coming to him, and he's married to the sister, the chereshes. So the ketana sort of supersedes that. It pushes her away. Perhaps the ketana is 100%, and the chereshes, as we know, is only like a 50% type of arrangement. So he's in trouble on both accounts. Chereshes, yoitza beget, his own wife, he has to divorce. She's the sister of the Yevamos. Uktana. What about the Yevamos who's a ketana? She has to wait. Tam tenache tagdil. Wait until she grows up, v'tachlitz, and then do chalitza. You can't marry her because, after all, she's a sister of your wife, the chereshes. So either way, you can't be married to either one. Divorce the chereshes and wait until the ketana grows up and do chalitza. Meis bala shel chereshes. What about if it happened the other way around? The chereshes is the Yevamos, and I'm married to the ketana. Ketana yoytze beget. So firstly, the ketana leaves. Why? Maybe the ketana is not really married to me. We're not sure, right? It's a suffix. And the chereshes is presenting as a Yevamos. So now the ketana, my wife, is the sister of the Yevamos. Trouble. Get. The chereshes asur lo'ilam. What do I do with the Yevamos, the chereshes? Well, I can't do much. Yibum I can't do. Because maybe my wife, the ketana, is fully kanui to me. She's my real wife. Now the chereshes is a sister of my gerusha. I can't wait until she grows up and do chalitza. A chereshes can't accommodate chalitza. So she's asur. However, and this is going to be the focal point of our sugya, let's say he did interact with the chereshes. So again, he was married to a ketana. Chereshes came to him as a Yevamos. He wasn't supposed to get involved with either one. He He's supposed to divorce the Ktana and wait to the Chereshes, and then just leave the Chereshes alone. He lived with the Chereshes. He did with the Chereshes. Nice not get. He gives her a get, and that's it. She's free to go. Why? Look, if my wife, the Ktana, is my wife, so then the Chereshes, the Yevamos, is a sister of my wife, she's pater regardless. If my wife is not my wife, she's not connected to me, then I did even with the Chereshes. So she's done. So you see clearly that this approach, this formula, is indeed correct. The Ktana is either all or nothing, and the Chereshes is just a mixas kinyan. And that explains this halacha. And the Gemara will elaborate. This is fully explainable if you say Chereshes knuyo mishayeres. A Chereshes is only partially married. Ktana knuya ve'ena knuya, as opposed to a Ktana where it's all or nothing. Which that explains the halacha that we just said. The chibah Chereshes. If I'm married to the Ktana, Chereshes comes to me as a Yevamo. I get involved with the Chereshes. Noisen get v'hutra. I give her the get, then she's free to go. The amras mi manavshach, because either way she's good, as we explained. If my wife the Ktana is fully acquired by me, she's my wife. Hanafka mishmachos isha. Then the Chereshes, her sister, leaves the scene. She's a sister of my wife and erva. She's in any case pater. Ilav knuya. If my wife is not really mine, shaper miyabim. Then the yibum I did with the Chereshes is perfect. So the halacha works well with this formula, and that proves our point. But if you would propose to switch things around, not to follow our formula, rather you'll say, Chereshes knuya ve'ena knuya. It's the Chereshes who's either all or nothing. Ktana knuya mishayeres, and the Ktana who is partially acquired. You're going to switch around the formula, then we're in trouble. We can't really understand this halacha. Kibo ala Chereshes. If the husband of the Ktana, who was presented with the Chereshes, does even with the Chereshes, amai noisen get v'hutra. How can the Brisa allow him just to give her a get and let her marry out? If we say that the Ktana's marriage is a partial kinyan, so that preempts, that precludes even with the Chereshes who arrives. She's now the sister of my wife, who's partially connected to me. So how can the yibum done to her be mitzi her, make her mutter? Havil be a psul. It's a be a psul. It's not an appropriate bia. It's not an appropriate yibum. She's also will be a psul like patra. We know that a bia which is inappropriate doesn't exempt the isha from her obligations. You still need a chalitza. And this is a sugi we had enough way back when Perek Rabban Gamliel, back in Daf Nun. The Shitas Chachamim was that a bia psula doesn't really work. There's a whole gzera. See the sugi there. So bottom line is, we're in trouble. It says, well, no. Hamani Reb Nechemi. Remember, there's another sheet of Nechemi who says, the Amar bia psula peteres mechalitz, even if it's a bia psula, such as perhaps this case is, it can take care of our obligations. So that can be a pshat in the Bryce. 1 second, that's not going to work. Reb Nechemia, amos seifa. Let's proceed to the next halacha in the Bryce. So in the first halacha we had two brothers married to two Yusaimis, who are actually sisters. Now we're going to speak about a fellow married to two Yusaimis who are not sisters, strangers. Roch and Leah, unrelated. Mishaya nasu shtei Yusaimis, Ktana v'Chereshes. This fellow was married to two Ktanas, to two Yusaimis. One is a Ktana, one is a Chereshes. By the way, the Chereshes, I think Rashi says, doesn't have to be a Yusaima. But the point is that they're both not really married minater. You have a Ktana, a Chereshes, married to the same man. Umeis, and he passed away without children. Now he has a brother, a Yavam, Mr. Shimon. Ba Yavam ala Ktana. He did Yibum with Ktana. And then did Yibum with the Chereshes. Or his brother went and did Yibum to the Chereshes. So stop for a second. What would you say in this halach? What would you say in this case? Well, if we're working with the assumption that the Ktana is either all or nothing, and the Chereshes is only sort of a miktas, then I can understand this halacha. You know why? I did even with the Ktana, and then with the Chereshes. So really, I'm safe. I'm okay. You know why? Because let's go through the options. If the Ktana is fully engaged, fully married, fully acquired, it's a full kinyan. Okay, so then I did the Yibum to the Ktana, a proper Yibum, a deserving Yibum, fully in place, fully appropriate. So although I went ahead and did Yibum to the Chereshes, it doesn't really harm anything. It doesn't undo the Yibum with the Ktana, which was a proper Yibum. Because remember, the Ktana is either all or nothing. So if it's all, if she's really meant to be a Yevamos, she was acquired by my brother, now she's my Yevama, then I did Yibum to the Yevama and everything else is good. The whole household becomes pater. If she's not really acquired by my brother, so then guess what? She's just a stranger. I married a stranger. So the fact that I went over to the Chereshes can't really do anything, can't interfere with the Yibum that I did with the Ktana beforehand. However, as the Gemara and Rashi explains, there is a concern that perhaps next time you'll flip it around. This time you were safe. Ktana was first, you were good. But what if next time you do the Chereshes first? Now you're in trouble. Chereshes is a 50% kinyan, right? Miktzas. You do Yibum with the Chereshes. And then you went to the Ktana, and perhaps the Ktana is 100% wife. So now the 100% overrides the 50% of the Chereshes. It supersedes her and interferes with that relationship. It makes her usher. Right? You're not meant to have married two Yevamis from the same household. It's one or the other. So we're concerned about that eventuality. You might flip it around. You might not differentiate between this case and that case. It's just a slight nuance, but a huge difference. Right? If you start with the Ktana, then you're safe, as we explained. Because if she's fully yours, then that preempts anything else. If she's not yours, she's not one brother's either. She's just a stranger. She's okay. I can hold on to her. We're concerned that he might switch it around. He might do the Chereshes first, and she's certainly 50%. Not a suffix. She's partially a Yevama. So then when I do the Ktana afterwards, Ktana might be 100%, right? You don't know. It's either 0 or 100. If she's 100, then she undoes the 50% of the Chereshes, and you're in trouble. So on account of that concern, we're going to say that in this case as well, where Ktana was 1 and Chereshes 2, they both become us. So what does the Brisa say? Ketzat hakanasan. What's the solution here? You did Ktana first and Chereshes number 2. It's going to be a problem. So how are you supposed to address these two women here? Chereshes yotzes beget. You give a get to the Chereshes, number 1. Get her out of the way. Uktana tamtin. You wait for the Ktana to grow up and do chalitza. End of Brisa. Yevamos b'shleima. Now, this is fully understandable if we follow the formula that we proposed. Chereshes knuya mishayeres. Chereshes is 50% in. Ktana knuya v'neknuya knuya. Ktana is either all or nothing. V'rabbanani, and we are following shitas rabbanan that a bia pesula doesn't do much good. That would explain the halacha. That's why tamtin achetagdil v'tachlis. This fellow was presented with two Yevamis, one a Ktana, one a Chereshes. He started with the Ktana, then went over to the Chereshes. He's in trouble. Why? Really, he should be okay, because the Ktana is either in or out. And if she's in, she's 100% in, which preempts the next interaction with the Chereshes. It can't go back and interfere with the Ktana. Ktana is fully in, Chereshes is out. And if the Ktana is out, then she's just a stranger. She was never married to my brother. So then really I'm safe. But, as we explained, there's a chashash. Next time he might do it differently. He might flip around the order. Next time around, he might do Yibum to the Chereshes number 1, and then over to the Ktana. And now we're in trouble. Because Chereshes is half in, half out. She precludes Yibum with the Ktana, who is not considered the sister of my wife. The bia with the Ktana right now is bia psula. Once I do Yibum to the Chereshes, who is considered a partial Isha, a partial Kinyan, then I cannot no longer do Yibum with the Ktana. I can't go over to the sister. That's considered bia psula. So, firstly, if I do Yibum with the Ktana after the Chereshes, that interferes with the chereshes, because maybe the Ketana is fully acquired now, 100% in, and that sort of interferes with the chereshes, it's only 50% in. And number two, that explains the halach in the brayso that the Ketana can't leave with a get, because this bia is bia psula. She still has zika. You have to wait until she grows up and give her chalitza. So the halach is clear. If this formula is correct, but according to you, that we're following Rabbi Nechemia, ha'amar bia psula pacha. He says that a bia psula can just address any zika. So why does the Tana have to wait till she grows up and get chalitza? Just give her a get. Ela shmamino rabbanon ishmamino. It's clear from the brayso itself that we're following shittas rabbanon. A bia psula is worthless. That explains the entire sequence of events and halachas in this brayso. We prove our point. Chereshes is koni b'miktzas. The Ketana is either all the way in or all the way out. Amar of Ashi, you know what? You didn't have to go through all this trouble to prove this point. I'll bring you a raya from the first part of the brayso. This formula is correct. Chereshes is part in, part out. Ketana is all the way in or all the way out, and we're following shittas rabbanon. A bia psula can't really address her. And as explained, what's the proof? Shmamino d'Rabbanan, the Ketani. Look at the first part in the brayso. Let's go back to the two brothers married to sisters. He was married to Ketana. He was married to Chereshes. So in that second variation, second case there, we had the Chereshes, his husband passed away. She's coming to me for Yibum. I'm married to the Ketana. What does the brayso say? The Ketana is in trouble because the Chereshes is, half in, half out, and she pushes away the Ketana, who's perhaps not really my wife. So she has to leave with a get, and the Chereshes is really usher. On the one hand, I can't do much. I can't do Yibam because perhaps the Ketana is really my wife, so she's now a sister my wife, and I can't do Chalitza. Chereshes can't have Chalitza. The Ketani, imbo ala Chereshes. But if he does get involved with the Chereshes, noisin la get v'hutra, just give her a get and let her go. Right? As we explained before, miman of shech. I'll just go over it again. Miman of shech, because if my wife, the Ketana, is fully my wife, then the Chereshes who comes for Yibam is pater. If the Ketana is not really married to me, then the Yibam I did with the Chereshes is perfectly fine, so she's looked after. Okay, that was the brayso. But in the first case, where I was married to the Chereshes, and the Ketana came to me for Yibam, what does the brayso say? I'm in trouble. My wife has to leave me with a get. The Ketana has to wait until she grows up and get chalitza. V'lo Ketani, the brayso doesn't say in Baal Ketana if he should interact with the Ketana inappropriately, but if he should do the Yibam, noisen la get v'hutra. You can just give her a get and let her go. Why? Why not? Why didn't the brayso mention that option? It's not preferred, it's not ideal, it's not recommended. But just as the brayso in the second case mentioned such a eventuality, if he actually went and did something inappropriate, fine. So then we have the solution: give her a get, let her go. Why not in the first case as well? I'm married to Chereshes. Ketana comes to me for Yibam. I really shouldn't be doing anything, but if I do Yibam to the Ketana, I'll just give her a get and let her go. You know why the brayso didn't mention it? Because that Yibam to the Ketana is possible. Once I'm married to the Chereshes, who's partially mine, that preempts Yibam with the Ketana. She's now a Chayse Isha. That Yibam is possible. So you can't just let her go with a get. You have to wait until she grows up and still give her Chalitza to address her Zika, which was never cancelled. So it's clear that we're following Shittas Chachamim. The Chalitza Psula is worthless. As opposed to the other case where I was married to the Ketana and then presented by the Chereshes. There, if I do Yibum to Chereshes, she's mutter miman of shech. Right? Again, as we explained, because if my marriage with the Ketana is fully married, is a full marriage, then the Chereshes, the sister, is Achayis Isha, she's pater from Yibum. If my marriage with the Ketana is worthless, is nothing, then the Chereshes is a full Yevama. Yibum with her was perfect. So in that case it works. But in the case where I'm married to the Chereshes, and the Ketana comes running, Chereshes is half in, half out. It's not a suffix, she's partially mine. So she doesn't allow the Yibum with the Ketana. Yibum with the Ketana is called Pasal, and that's why the Brisa doesn't allow it. Even if I do Yibum to the Ketana, it doesn't address the Zik. I have to wait for her to grow up and do Chalitza. That proves our point that Yibum Pasal, Bia Psula, doesn't do much. Brisa doesn't present the option of Yibum with the Ketana. That's a Raya. Because Bia Psula is worthless. No, Imashim Hala area, this wouldn't be a Raya. Perhaps theoretically. Yibum with the Ketana, under these circumstances, would be considered acceptable. Why didn't the Brisa mention it? Chereshes less takanta de teira katani. Takanta de Yisur. By the Chereshes case, where she came for Yibum, there's no real permissible solution there. I'm married to the Ketana, I can't do anything with the Chereshes until she grows up. And even then I can't do much. Because Chereshes cannot have Chalitza. Asur la'olam. So that's why the Brisa, for lack of better options, gave us at least the Isser option. Let's say I did Yibum with the Chereshes, this is what happens. As opposed to the Ketana, when I'm married to the Chereshes and the Ketana comes for Yibum, the Isser Takanta de Teira, there's a very simple, permissible way out. Just wait until she grows up and do Chalitza, like Ketani, Takanta de Yisur. The Brisa chose not to get involved with the Yisurim, but theoretically speaking, perhaps the same halacha would apply in this case. Even the Bia Psula would be okay. Okay, so bottom line is, we've proven our point, at least from the previous Raya, then indeed, the marriage with a Chereshes is called Knuya U'Mishayeres, the marriage with the Ketana is called Knuya Ve'ena Knuya, it's a suffix, and that explains all these halachas. Says the Mishnah, Mishaya Nosoi Lishtei Yisaimes Ketanos. Reuben is married to 2 Yisaimes or Ketanos. Umeis passes away. Yibum is meant to be done with one of them, and that exempts the entire household. Uba Yavam al Rishayna, V'chazar Abal Ashniya, did Yibum with one Ketana and then with the other one as well. Oishaba Achav al Ashniya, or his brother, did Yibum with the second Ketana. Lei Pasal Rishayna doesn't have any negative effect on the first Yibum. See, the recurring concept in this mission is as follows. When both experiences were of equal value, then experience number 1 carries the day. That sort of sets the tone, that closes the door on any further Yibums, and anything that happens later does not go back and interfere with it. But if the 2 types of Yibums were of unequal value, then we'll have to see the halachas. Then we say the first one, if it's not as good as the second one, then the second one can interfere. So far we're safe. If they're both Ketanos, Lei Pasal as a Rishona, no effect. V'chein beis Chereshes, same thing with 2 Chereshes, they're Rabbanans, they don't interfere. What about Iktana v'Chereshes? Right, that's the case we just had a few minutes ago. The 2 Yevamos, one is Iktana, one is a Chereshes, then we're in trouble. Ba Yavam al Iktana, v'chazar Abal Chereshes. If he did Yibum with Ketana, then Chereshes, or Sheba Achav al Chereshes, so his brother did Chereshes, Pasal Aktana, then the Ketana becomes Pasal, as we just explained. There's that Zera, because he might switch it around next time, etc. Ba Yavam al Chereshes. First, the Yibum with the Chereshes, v'chazar Abal Aktana, then with the Ketana, or Sheba Achav al Aktana, or then his brother did with the Ketana, Pasal and Chereshes. Chereshes has to leave, because perhaps the Ketana is Kanoi 100%, and the Kinyan of the Chereshes is only a Miktsas. So the 100% overrides the Miktsas. What if you have 2 Yevamos, one is a Pekachas, fully healthy, V'Chereshes, and one is a Chereshes? So the Kinyan of the Pekachas is Midarais, the Chereshes only Midarabonim. So of course the Pekachas stands higher. Ba Yavam al Pekachas, V'chazar Uba al Chereshes, Oy Sheba Achiv al Chereshes. Loi Pasal as a Pekachas, right? Pekachas is first. Chereshes that follows can't interfere. Ba Yavam al Chereshes, V'chazar Uba al Pekachas. He started with the Chereshes and then proceeded to the Pekachas. Oy Sheba Achiv al Pekachas, or his brother went to Pekachas. Pasal is a chereshes. That interferes with the chereshes because pikachas stands higher. The same will happen with the gdoila uktana. There are two Yevamos. One is gdoila, one is uktana. Ba yavam al gdoila, and then v'chazor bal uktana. Oy sheba achiv al uktana. Why pasal as gdoila? It doesn't do anything with the gdoila. However, ba yavam al uktana. He started with the uktana, which is only the rabbanon, and then he went to the gdoila v'chazor bal gdoila. Oy sheba achiv al gdoila. Of course, pasal as uktana interferes with the uktana. Rabbi Lazar Eimer, in this case, melamdin uktana shetimayin boy. So if he first did the Ketana and then went to the Gdoila, we don't want the Ketana to stick around and the Gdoila to have to leave. We want him to do a proper Yibum with the Gdoila, so we advise the Ketana to walk away, to do Mian, which retroactively uproots her entire marriage and the need to do Yibum, in which case this fellow is now free to stay with the Gdoila. Amar B'Damar Shmuel, Halacha Kerbelazar, that's how we paskin. We get the Ketana to leave, and this way he's not being miyabim two Yevamos from the same household, and he can hold on to the Gdoila. V'chein Amar Rabbi Lazar, Rabbi Lazar is the Amira, right? He also followed the same idea. Halacha Rabbi Lazar, we follow Rabbi Lazar the Tana. Utzricha. Now Shmuel and Rabbi Lazar the Amira had actually told us the same thing in the previous Mishnah. Let's go back to Kuftes. So we had a case where this fellow was being presented with a Yevama. There were two brothers married to two sisters, and Reuben married the Gdoila, Shimon the Ktana. Reuben passed away. Shimon, who's married to the Ktana, is now in a quandary because the Yevama is my wife's sister. Rabbi Lezer says, you know what? We tell your wife to leave you. Mion. This way, Yibum will be enabled. I'll have the ability to do Yibum with the Gdoila. So Rabbi Lezer and Shmuel both tell us, in that case, that we follow Rabbi Lezer, the Tana's approach there, that we do Mion, to enable Yibum. Utzrichas, so are both needed? Once we have their statement over there, why do we have to repeat it again over here? That we follow Rabbi Lazar, we encourage the Mion to enable the Yibum. Both are needed. The Itma B'Hakam Maisa. If only from that first halacha there, B'Hakam Shmuel. Halacha Rabbi Lazar, I'll say, yeah, over there, Shmuel says we follow Rabbi Lazar's approach. We try to encourage the Mion to enable the Yibum, Mishum Deloy Kiyam Mitzvahs Yibum, because he had done Yibum, right? He was... his hands were tied. He had a Yevama who was his wife's sister. So in order to activate Yibum, we tell his wife to leave him. Aval Baha, the Ikayim Mitzvahs Yibum, but in this case, he already did Yibum. He married the Ktana, then married the Gdoila. He did it. Eimatar Vayu Livku Beget. So then, you know what? Just skip the whole thing. Give them both a get. You're done. That's why they have to say no. Here as well, we follow Rabbi Lazar. We try to arrange it in a way that he can hold on to the Gdoila. V'yashmina Baha. If only from this case, Mishum the Gdoila Rami Kameh, because the fact is, this fellow was presented with was facing two Yevamos, the Ktana and the Gdoila. Right? There was a mitzvah Yibum on the agenda. So we tried to arrange things in a way that he can hold on to the Gdoila. Aval Idoch Loi, but perhaps in that previous Mishnah, where he wasn't really facing the Gdoila because he was married to the Ktana, and the Gdoila is my wife's sister. So maybe in that case, we'll just say, you know what, Achai Sishta, let her go. Tzricha. The Chiddush is no. Even in that case, we rearrange their families in order to enable a Yibum. Continues the Mishnah. Yavam Katan Shabal Yavam Ktana. So he's a Yavam, a Katan, she's a Yavam Ktana. And he did Yibum. Yigdilu Ze Im Ze. They have to wait till they grow up, and then if he chooses, he can give a get. Rashi says a Katan cannot give a get. And there's machlekes rishonim whether this interaction between the two is actually considered, kinyan of Yibum. Many rishonim say no, it's only midrabanan. Some rishonim say Rashi in the Kedusha is mashma like that. It's considered a Yibum in Ataris, although he's only a Katan, and typically a Katan can't acquire, can't do kinyanim. Yibum is different because it's Zika based. It's coming from heaven. It's a match made in heaven. It's a shidduch from Hashem. It's not something which you have to go ahead and initiate. You have to sort of jump on the bandwagon. And even if you're a katan, your Yibum takes effect. In any case, they have to wait till they grow up and then they can decide their future. Ba al Yevama, let's say he was a katan and he was ba al Yevama Gedola. She's a gadol and he's a katan. To gadlanu, she has to wait until he grows up, etc. Ha-Yevama she'amra b'teich shleishim yom le'nivalti. So officially they did Yibum. It's a month later, within 30 days, and she says, Rabbi Yisai, there was no actual physical interaction. I either or, do chalitza, something. We force him. We compel him to do chalitza. We trust her. We take her word as fact. But if it's already after 30 days, and she's still claiming there was no yibum done between them, at this point we say, look, please, be a mensch, do the chalitza, but we can't force him. The Gemara explains because the working assumption is that they're living together for so long, there must have been some sort of interaction. So we can ask him, we can advise him, but we can't force him. But it was Manshu Maida. Let's say he admits, he says, you know what, it's a year later, but I didn't get around to it. Then I feel irrespective of how long it is, even a year later we'll force him. Okay, so she's happily married with her husband, and she dislikes this brother-in-law. We're calling him the Yevama, her Yavam with a mapike. So she says, look, I'm making a neder, I'm never having anything to do with you. And then her husband passes away, and she's his Yevama. So we force him, we compel him to do chalitza because she may not marry him. She has a neder. And, she wasn't directing it at this type of scenario. She was just expressing her disappointment with her brother-in-law, disliked her brother-in-law. It wasn't motivated by trying to avoid yibum. Her husband was alive. It was just a personal neder between the two. But la'achar misas bal. Let's say her husband passed away and she gets up and says, I'm making a neder, I'll never get near this fellow. Now she has an agenda. She's motivated. She's driven by her disinterest in marrying the Yavam. That's not right of her. So we can't force him to do chalitza. We say, look, perhaps it might be the wise move in this case, but we can't force him. Because what right did she have to preempt the Yibum through a neder that was directed at her brother-in-law? Not only that, let's say we know that this was her mindset. Even if it was during her husband's lifetime, but she knew that she's going to make a neder to preempt any possible even with his brother-in-law. Since it was an agenda, since it was directed at him, if her husband passes away, then we can't force him to do chalitza, we can ask. So the Mishnah began with the halacha that the katan and the ktana can technically do a yibum, right? It would seem that we're not following Shitas Rav Meir, the Sanya. Katan uktana loichaltzen, v'loy miyabim. Divi Rabbi Meir. According to Rabbi Meir, until you have adults standing in front of you, you can't get involved in yibum or chalitza because he might turn out to be a saris. She might turn out to be an alienist who are hormonally imbalanced, who can't really do yibum. They can't bear children. You won't figure that out until they're g'daylim and you see what they're all about. And now Mishnah seems to allow yibum even when they're ktanim, when their situation is unknown. So Rav Meir is choshesh for mi'uta throughout Shas. It's choshesh even for a minority. Chachamim disagree. Most people are healthy. There's no reason to suspect otherwise. But our Mishnah, which allows it, is not Rav Meir. Yes, I feel the time of Rav Meir. Even Rav Meir would agree. Why? Ki Amar Rav Meir g'dayla lekatan. Rav Meir doesn't allow a g'dayla to get involved with a katan, or uktana legadol, or if he's a gadol and she's a ktana, you never know. The chad minayu be a disuru, because one of these are adults who might be involved in erva. If it turns out that there's somebody hormonally deficient who's unable to do the yibum, so there's no mitzvah sibum, just an erva. That's because there's an adult on the scene who's doing an avera, a possible issur. We don't allow it. Aval katna, bala katana. But if he's a katna and she's a katana, what's the concern? They're both in the same boat. They're both not chayiv and einshin. Like Omar, he wouldn't object. Yes, the Gemara. But the Mishnah does speak about a case where one of these two parties are adults, but al Yevama G'dayla, the Katan interacted with the Yevama G'dayla Tigadlana, she should stay with him. She's a G'dayla. Maybe he's unsuitable, he's a Saris. How do we allow this? Amar Rabbi Chanina Chuzah, Ba Shaini, Ba, he did it. We're not telling him to do it, he did it. What do you mean? V'tigadlanu Kamar. Mishnah says, grow up with him. Stay married. Every interaction is asur. Clearly it's clear that the correct approach is masnis and look at Rabbi Meir. Mishnah is not following Rabbi Meir. And the Rabbanan hold, you know what, unless you're showing signs of saras or islandness, don't worry about it. But we have a problem. You're telling me the katan could stay with this Yevama? Kari Khan. What about the pasuk lahakim la'achav shame? Apply the pasuk which encapsulates the entire concept of yibum. It's meant to reestablish the brother's name. Vailak bar achihu. He's a katan. He can't yet have children, or she's a ktana. She can't. How can you allow yibum to proceed here? Amar Abaye, Amar Kro Yevama Yavei Aleh Kodu. Pasuk says any type of Yevama Kodu, even 1 day old, doesn't matter. Rav Amar Balav Hachi Nami Leimotzis Amris. By the way, Tosfos says that the diuk is, he could have said Achi Hames Yavei Aleh, the brother. It says Yevama Yavei Aleh. We're giving him like sort of a generic title, any type of Yevama, even if he's a youngster. True, right now he's unable to bear children. He'll grow up, he'll grow into it. So Yibum is perfectly acceptable even at this early age. Rava Amar, even without this drasha of Abaye, you still cannot propose that the youngster is prohibited from Yibum. You know why? Mi kamiti. Is there such a case? The hashta asirale, that a Yevama should be usher to a specific Yavam, currently usher, at the moment usher, ulabarser shat, a sharia, and then she'll be mutter later on. You're telling me that a young Yavam cannot do Yivam, but later when it becomes a gadol he can't. That's impossible. V'amar vidam rav. That flies in the face of the whole concept of Yivam. Kol Yevama she'einani koire b'shas nefila. Any type of Yevama who during her nefila, when her husband dies, you do not apply the pasuk of Yevama Yavei Aleh that you enable Yibum. If it doesn't apply, then it never applies. We treat it like an Eshes Ach who had children who's never. So it's clear that either you say this 9-year-old, has to be at least 9-year-old by the way, to make a beer, right? So either you say this 9-year-old is mutter, or he'll never be mutter, even when he grows up. What do you mean? Okay, so maybe he'll never be mutter. How do you know which way to go? You've made your case. If it's usher now, it's usher forever. Maybe it's usher forever. That can't be. You cannot say that. If a Yevama presents to a Yavam who's a katan, there should be no Yivam. How do you know? Amakra, the pasuk says, Ki yeshvu achim yachtav. If two brothers lived at the same time, so even if the younger brother is a day old, afilu ben yamechad, even if he's only a day old when the other brother passed away, there is Yibum. So it's clear that even a young Yavam activates Yibum. And that being the case, you cannot say that he's usher now until he grows up, because as we said, if you're usher now, you're usher always. Continues the Gemara. So she claims there was no Yibum done. He says, sure there was. We force him to do Chalitz. Mantana, who is this? Man Amar Da'at, Lasin Yamin, until 30 days. Moikim Inish Ben Anafshe, you can assume the person will restrain himself, and it makes sense. It's her argument is plausible. That indeed there was no Yibum done as of yet. Who is this Shita? Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Meir, This time it is Rabbi Meir. The Sanya Tanas Besul. We find in a different case, a different halach. This fellow married an Isha. She was supposedly a Besula, and he claims that she's not. How long into the marriage can he still have this claim? A year later? Well, of course, you interacted with her. She's not a Besula. How long does this claim last for? Tanas Besum Kol Shleishim Yom. Rabbi Meir says until 30 days. But past that, the assumption is that there was interaction between him and her. Now he's having second thoughts about the marriage, and he's claiming that she was never a psula. We don't believe him. So until 30 days we do. Until 30 days a person can restrain himself, and likewise in our Mishnah, until 30 days we accept her claim as fact, that there was no yibum done. Rabbi Yossi disagrees. Rabbi Yossi Eimer, right away. Nistra, if they were in a Makam Seiser, then La'alter, then we assume that's it. Her Besula status expires. He can no longer claim to the contrary because you went into private with her. We assumed there was some interaction, and therefore your claim was laid to rest. Loy Nisra, but if there was no privacy between them, then even after many years, you can get up and say, look, this is the first time we were together, and I see she's a Besula. She's not a Besula. So our Mishnah, which gives the 30-day mark as the limit, is Rabbi Meir, not Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi would not believe him even for 1 second if there was a seiser. Rabbi Amar, Rabbi Yossi would agree in our case it's different than a regular husband and wife. At kan lokam Rabbi Yossi hasam. It's only by the ordinary marriage where Rabbi Yossi says, look, chances are there was already an interaction. That's it. It's over. At kan lokam Rabbi Yossi hasam elavarus sasai. She says, Kala, they're married. The gispa, they're close in heart. We assume there was some interaction. But his sister-in-law buzzes me now. Rashi says, he's bashful, he's embarrassed. They're uncomfortable with each other. It takes a while for them to warm up. So in this case, even Rabbi Yossi would agree 30 days is a reasonable time limit where the working assumption could be that there was no interaction, and we trust her when she says there was none, and we force him to do chalitza. So what did we learn today? We discussed the marriage with a ktana, which is a suffix kinyan, suffix nothing. Chareshes is a mixas kinyan, and that explained the various halachas. We had a Mishnah. There were 2 Yevamos, and he interacted with both. They're both on the same level, both ktanois, both chereshes, which makes them only midrabanan. Then the second interaction does not make the first interaction possible. First one in is in. But if there's some sort of discrepancy between the 2 Yevamos, one is a ktana, one is a chereshes, one is a ktana, one is a gdela, then we're in trouble. The second one can actually interfere with the first one. So in the case, let's say he married a ktana first, then he went to the gdela, and then the gdela, who is certainly stronger than a ktana, interferes, makes ktana puzzle. What do? Maskana is, we follow Rabbi Lezer's shita, we tell the ktana to leave the scene, do miyun, and this way he's allowed to stick with the gdela. A cotton with a ktana do yibum, they grow up together and live happily married. And the Gemara says this is not Rabbi Meir speaking, according to Rabbi Meir, you wouldn't allow this to happen. Why do we even allow this thing to continue? Meaning, if he's just a cotton or she's a ktana, they can't be children, which is really, this is not in line with the whole concept, inconsistent with the whole din. The point is, lahakim shem. We have 2 answers. Either we learn from the pasuk, Yevama Yavel, even a young Yavam is considered a suitable candidate, or Kiyeshvu Achem Yachtav, even Ben Yem Echad. Yevama says, look, it's within 30 days, there was no Yivam, we believe her and we force the Yavam to do Chalitza. We have 2 pshatim. Either this is only Shittas Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yossi would not trust her, or perhaps even Rabbi Yossi would agree in this case, because the working assumption is that it takes a while for this relationship to build up, and perhaps it's still pre-Yibum. In the last part of the Mishnah, we learned about a Yevama who made a neder against her brother-in-law. So if it was directed at the Yibum circumstance, then we penalize her. We can't go along with it, and we can't force the Yavam to do Chalitza. We can't force him. But if it was just done innocently, without any agenda and any personal and it wasn't directed at the Yibum, then we force and we kaifa him to do the chalitza to release her. All the best to you, and may we have much hatzlacha.